And closing things off, oh boy, I think this episode is pure 3.5 out of
Yeah.
5 for me. But yeah, yes, I sell myself out short. Sell myself out one time. Now we have to talk about Yardie, boy.
Right.
This is the directorial debut of Mr. Idris Elba, aka James Bond. One day, the Black James Bond. Everybody kind of want him to be the Black James Bond. Bond, sorry.
Yeah.
Even the episode of a recent episode of Saturday Night Live, which had him
Right.
as the
I just
host,
covered it last
made
week,
fun of
yeah.
that. That was kind
Yeah.
of funny. Okay,
I
yeah,
think it's one of those things. It's one of those things that because it just becomes so popular, you don't want it to happen. No, it's like, and he look. I like Idris Elba a lot, but as a James Bond, I still don't see him personally. Like I think yeah, you could have a black James Bond. It just can't be Idris Elba. It could be somebody else, in my opinion. Um,
yeah.
but not him. Because have plenty of other black British actors who could pull it off. Like to me, somebody like David Hewlett could probably more pull off James Bond than um that.
What's his name? Sorry.
David Hewlett, I think, is from the guy who's playing Martian Manhunter from Supergirl.
Oh, him. Really? You find he's
I
too
think,
old though? You have a old man face though.
oh, you've had a one race now, and you can play James Bond.
You look kind of old, dude. Well,
Yeah,
face wise,
that's
in
all.
my opinion.
I think I say the wrong name. It's David
David
Hewlett.
Harewood. David Harewood.
Yeah, yeah, David Hewlett is who? Oh no, David Hewlett is that fellow from Stargate. No, I got confused.
Right.
Right,
But yeah, the
right.
man have a
No,
the man have a old, the man have a old man face straight. Like look at the jaw and thing have a old man look straight.
yeah, they do a grimy bun, man.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Yeah,
When I get a chance. But yeah, so the selling point for me with this movie here was not the name Idris Elba, but just the title itself, Yardie, because this is a story that takes place both in Jamaica and in London, actually. But is the eras that really had me intrigued, right? So, it's based off of a novel of the same name. I believe it came out in '92 or something like that.
right.
Um, so it centers on the character of Dennis Campbell, right, aka D, and we see his upbringing as a kid in Jamaica,
Yeah,
and there's these two gangs warring against each other, and his older brother, who is a DJ, basically try to bring about some peace, right? And one night he sets up this not a concert basically, but this party basically brings the townspeople to come through. He's played the reggae, he's played the reggae, records and whatnot. You know what I mean? Everybody enjoy the vibe and whatnot. And one thing I give credit for, I love the music as well. Like, yes, it's familiar. So it's like if you know reggae, like from 70s go up, you'll recognize a tune or two in this film. But
yeah,
just the way how they utilize sound, especially with the amps and whatnot, they do some clever sound design in terms of that. So I thought that was really, really great. So while he's doing his thing, he brings the two gang leaders together. So when I saw that, I was thinking like instantaneously like Bob Marley. Like remember when he oh gosh, with Michael Manley and that other guy, when he brought them up together, it's like, yes,
yeah,
unite,
yeah,
let's peace. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I was getting that kind
yeah,
of vibe there. So,
yeah.
and well, I unfortunately, sorry, I should say, I was going to say ironically, but unfortunately, Dennis's brother is shot by
Yeah.
someone in the crowd, in the audience, basically, and this changes Dennis's life forever, right? And
Yeah.
cut to a few years later, he's working for one of the members of one of the leaders, sorry, of one of the gang leaders in the facility, basically, because the other
Yeah.
guy passed away, right? He's doing like odd jobs for him, and yes, of course, the guy owns a record label, so I was getting a hard they come kind of vibe basically. Where it's like,
Right.
oh well, you want my music to play on the radio? Well, I gonna pay a DJ to play my music, basically, right?
Yeah.
Um, and
King
well, then this
Fox.
is
I don't remember.
yeah, his name is
King Fox.
uh yeah, King Fox, right? Which is so Jamaican, right? Just
Yeah.
so Jamaican, that name itself, right? Um, he also gets himself into the world of coke, drug dealing basically in the form of
Right.
cocaine. So while his boss is trying to organize a deal, he recognizes somebody who may have been involved in his brother's death, and
Right.
we just see firsthand just how violent and brutal he could get when
Yeah.
he goes into that mode. It's like, oh, you know somebody who killed my brother, and then he just gets all brutal on a person, right? So because of that, now I wouldn't really call it punishment, but just like a job he's given, right? He's told to deliver this key of coke to a guy in London who calls himself Rico.
Yeah,
We'll talk about
I,
Rico in a bit. We'll talk
it's,
about
I
Rico.
like that. Is Steven Graham.
Yes, yes, it
Steven
is.
Graham. And I watch it like Steven Graham, Jamaican. What?
I
And then I
know,
was like,
right?
good.
I'm
And
like,
like you check, like if you check the backstory, apparently his grandfather was Jamaican. Apparently.
oh, okay, okay. Cause what did like wait no, but how he get this accent down though? Because it's Cockney, but it
Yeah,
has Jamaican slang, mixed
right.
into patois.
Yeah,
Jamaican patois, sorry, mixed into the.
right.
But it just sounds so seamless. Right? It didn't sound like a British man
So,
sounding Jamaican. It really sounded like
right,
a
exactly.
Jamaican who
So
was
like,
just
he's like
living
living in
in
England.
yeah. It sounded like a Jamaican who was living in England for years,
Right.
and that's how you'd
Yeah.
sound.
But he's
Like
stay
what's
with the
good?
culture now. Quote now.
Yeah.
Right.
So his job basically is just for Dennis to deliver the key of coke to him, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
But I forgot to mention to his girlfriend, well, to baby mama, actually moved to London a
Right.
few years before he went to go to London as well. So he meets up with her and her daughter basically, right? And this is subplot
Right.
going up them. So he meets up with
Well,
Rico.
you forget. Okay, so what happens that you kind of leave out why it is that he had to meet up with her because he kind of fell out with doing the deal. The deal fell apart and he ran.
Yeah,
With the coke.
that's what I was getting at. I was gonna say that the deal went awry, and he's chased. These two thugs basically try to kill him. Well, two
Right.
thugs working for Rico, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
because of that, he ends up going back to his girlfriend. Her name is Vanessa, by the way. No,
Yeah.
sorry, not Vanessa.
I did, but
The daughter is Vanessa. The mother is Yvonne, right? That's the name, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just basically him now in this new world trying to kind of get used to British life and whatnot. But he's making his way. He actually hooks up with these guys who try to rob him, but actually they have this sound system, and they're
Right.
going up against Rico's sound system basically. But overall, what's really going on is just that Rico and his men are still trying to find Dennis. They're still trying to kill him. Still trying to get that key of coke. King Fox
Right.
finds out what's going on, and yes, eventually he heads down to London as well to clarify what's going on. And most importantly, Dennis learns that the person who actually shot his brother, yes, is alive and is residing in London. So it's just a matter of finding him and
Right.
killing him, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what's in his mindset. He wants to kill the guy who killed his brother, and that's where I'll stop. 'Cause I don't want to spoil anything beyond that. So,
Right. No.
what do you think about Yardie?
I was good with it until the third act, and it kind of unraveled for me a little bit at that point. But I thought it had a lot of great, like, good screen presence, acting, and cinematography. I was enjoying everybody in this, especially Yvonne and Dee. I thought they were great together.
Yeah, the guy who
Um,
plays Dennis D,
yeah,
right? Amin, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I thought that he was
right.
excellent.
Yeah.
Especially like just with the Jamaican accent. It sounded one thing I would say about this movie, right? The Jamaican or the use of Jamaican accents, the patois, felt so authentic. And I mean, I ain't no Jamaican, so I didn't watch this film with a Jamaican. I know a
Yes,
couple
it
of
had the
Jamaicans,
same.
but they're like,
Okay.
oh well, that sounded like, oh well, it's a British person trying to sound Jamaican. It felt authentic to me.
Right. No, it had that same problem that this thing season 2 had now. What do you call it? Luke Cage now.
Oh
It
right,
had that kind
with
of problem.
Bushmaster.
Right. It had that same kind of problem where it aesthetically feels like that, but you'll find some people nitpicking it all the time. And I can imagine that. It's some people nitpick it. Because the thing of the movie, it more felt like Black British more than anything, eh? Not so much a Jamaican story, because you saw a lot of immigration stuff as well. Because every character was an immigrant in some way, shape, or form. You had people from Turkey. You had a Nigerian guy, I think, at one point.
Who was working at this it was a telephone place basically. Yeah, basically to make international
No.
calls.
I talk about the other guy. Remember the guy who was in the gang where he was with the party? That other guy. That guy was
him.
African, right?
Okay, right, right.
Right. Then who he sell the coke to was the Turks, where they sell the money to the Turks, because the Turks know some yappies, quote unquote, and them they pay good and they pay on time all the time. And all of it felt like a big underclass immigrant story. And I think that is where Idris Elba comes in. That is where the heart of it came in. That is where his perspective comes in as a Black British. Right.
Yeah.
And for me, that is what I thought the film kind of more focused on instead of Jamaica story or the Jamaica necessarily. Like that's where I thought it was going. That he's from Jamaica, but you got to join up with other immigrants in England to solve this, even though it's a big underclass drug story.
Yeah.
But
I honestly thought that it was going to go that route too now. That he would
right,
team up with other immigrants
right,
and
and,
they
then,
have the
and
same
because,
struggles, but if they
right
work
because that
together to pull this one job off, then cool.
right because those gang of dudes who he teamed up with, I forget which one is one of the African guy. I forget the other white guy what he was exactly, but he wasn't like quote unquote white. Now, I get if he was Jewish. Like I'm not sure what he was. I should have. I had to watch
The one he was making fun of. Engine.
and then
ENGIN, and he made the joke that my name is Engine, not ENGINE. I think that's the guy I talk about.
And then the mixed race one, the mixed race one, right?
Yeah.
Who right. And
he was the selector, I think it was. I think he was the selector at first, and then D stepped in that role or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And so I was like, all right, cool. It was going there, and then they decided to bring back the Jamaican plot, which I kind of call early on, but they do it in a kind of dumb way, and it just feel really clumsy coming down to the end. Although, what the part with King Fox and Rico at the end had me cracking up in the theater. That shit was hilarious.
You mean the dialogue between the two of them?
But then the ended. What happens to Rico at the end? I was like, that was ridiculous, but it's funny as hell to me. They were able to do it though. And that's where it kind of unraveled plot-wise. So it was going good. First two acts was solid for me, especially the stuff with the drugs and Yvonne. And I thought Yvonne was great in this in terms of what she was doing.
Yeah, she was.
And I thought they would have left it at that. So to me, I had a problem with, well, slight spoiler, but I had a problem with bringing back King Fox in the story so directly. Right? I had a problem with that. I thought they would have resolved the story with him, his main issue. I thought they would have resolved that more directly and those events. But for what they do with King Fox, I didn't like that. And that's what kind of kind of bungled up the whole thing going forward. But I still like it. And the first two acts works for me for the most part. It still feel like a kind of harder they come kind of vibe. It still have a lot of that.
It have a little. Does, yeah. You could tell that the movie clearly was inspired by Hard to Cover.
Right. It's still about a horror vibe to everything to it. Where you're doing this aesthetic and again Black British.
Yeah, Black British. Yeah. Except in the case of his film, keep forgetting the name of it. Pressure. Yes. Be at film school, but yes, how that was in the 70s. In this case, it's the early 80s, though. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it's that kind of vibe.
A lot of that world building worked. A lot of that historical feeling to everything. It really felt authentic, in my opinion, at least for me. I mean, I'm not some super nitpicky, historical person, so I'm sure I have mistakes here or there. But to me, it felt like, this is. It's the time before the internet, and you have to make phone calls by the guy, and you can really just talk to people just so. And who have a phone and owning a phone is a big deal, and blah, 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 blah. And how these communities kind of coalesce for themselves. It's pretty much when Idris Elba was a kid, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
He's in the 40s now, whatever, right?
Yeah. Early 40s, I think, or mid 40s, I think, yeah.
Right. And so for me now, it was good until they decided. I think that was the problem. I needed one more pass of the script, and I would have just probably completely rehauled the third act in terms of what the arc was, and suck that out. So to me, I'd have kept. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, but just to put it as simply as I can, without trying to spoil as much as I can, basically keep King Fox out of it, or at least slowly write him out of the story, and don't make him that relevant. Don't make him too relevant to the story, right? And have Rico be more centered as relevance.
Yeah.
And that is my issue with it. But I liked a lot of this. It was shot really well. Characters look great on screen in terms of skin tones and stuff like that. I love that. It looked great. Good character. I like characterization and acting. Again, the character that stood out for me was Yvonne. I thought she was great. Her character. In fact, they can make the movie about she. Hell, in my opinion.
That would have been interesting though.
Yeah, from perspective almost entirely, that would have worked. It's just this kind of fucking loser boyfriend who end up showing back up in she life, who she thought she leave back in Jamaica, shit like that. But she have a child for him, so that important. If they just frame it from her perspective, that the story could have be stronger, in my opinion. That's just me. Whatever.
Right.
The ending, I like the ending. I like what they did with that. Where you think they do the whole two sides thing, and then at the end, you see him really make what decision he actually made. But he saw the potential future of the quote unquote this type of decision, and he said, no, this type of decision he decided to make instead. And I like that. I like stuff like that.
Yeah. That was cool. I actually give credit for that. Yeah.
Yeah, and kept things unclear. Well, you say a piece before I give my rating, because I don't really have much else to talk.
Sure. All right. So for me with this, right, because I went in knowing that this is going to be, a gangster, not a gangster, but a gangster film, right? You know what I mean? And for me growing up, I mean, like, for me personally, this was a genre that I wouldn't say I love, but there were films that just stood out so much, for me, and it came from that genre. So, like in the early '90s, you had your New Jack City, you had your Deep Cover, you had, and then later on, like in the late '90s, you had stuff like Two World Cup, you know what I mean? And this was the first time really got that whole Jamaican gangster vibe going on there. In the 2000s, though, you had stuff like, Paid Full, and then of course, well, probably the best of the lot so far, City of God, right? So, pointers, and that I wasn't expecting this show to be on the level of City of God. What I love about City of God, by the way, well, it wasn't about Rio de Janeiro and youth gangs and all that kind of stuff. But what really blew me away was like the sort of novel / memoir style of it. You know what I mean? Like perfect example. To me, that movie felt like Miguel Street, but in Brazil with youth gangs. There were characters that show up periodically that you don't think connected to the story, but they are. But it spans over the course of like a few years. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like a community that you grew up into, characters that you see, and they all somehow connected into this kid, the protagonist, growing up within this world of violence. That's why that movie really stood to me. So it just did so much in terms of just elevated that genre. So, or subgenre, I should say. But with this movie here, like I wasn't expecting this thing to be like the next best gangster film, you know what I mean? The next the movie that rappers gonna be quoted or taking samples from or whatnot. But it could have been. But I know that it could have been. Could have been if the story was a little bit better.
I wasn't expecting this film to be Jamaican Scarface or anything like that. Like I wasn't expecting that at all. Like
just off the title alone, it was like, nah, because it's a Jamaican slang, but because it's Idris Elba name it is as well too. I know it's gonna have something happen in England as well too,
Right.
And I love where the story was going there, by the way. Even though, like, it starts off great in Jamaica, but I was a little curious as to where the story would continue in England. I was like really intrigued. I was really like engaged in what was going on, you know what I mean? For basically the second and third acts when, the protagonist goes to London. I was really, really, really intrigued by what was going on there,
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. This wasn't going to be Jamaican Scarface. It could have been, but no, that's not it, right? But yeah, but even those movies to an extent, they're not like big masterpieces. I would say, as far as masterpieces go, I still say New Jack City is still probably the best, in my opinion, one of the top 10 favorite movies of all time. Love City of God for what it did as well too. But basically those shows, that subgenre shows you go in, you know what to expect, right? You're gonna get the whole drug deal going bad, the tough talk, the gun toting stuff, what I mean? And you get that here in this show, right? But sometimes, not oftentimes, but sometimes it feels as if the film is just like, okay, well, this is the genre, so you have to play these familiar beats because we know the viewer, expecting it anyway. So yes, we have the deal where the guys try to kill the hero or the anti-hero. The anti-hero get, is one step ahead of them. He come back, he pistol whipping them, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there's familiar things in this show, and that's not to say that the show is full of cliches, but it's a genre anyway. You know what I mean? So once again, like I just felt that the story could have it just needs some fine tuning. It just really could have added a little bit more context in, so it really could have stand out a little bit more. But I just think it's just the aesthetic of it all that really makes it kind of different. But they really could have explored it a lot more, in my opinion. But as far as good goes, as I said on Facebook, and this was my status, it just could direct a movie, by.
Yeah, solid direction for me.
Direct way.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid direction. The thing I'll say is that I was thinking of him as director actually. I was like, oh yeah, at the end is when he saw his name. I was like, oh yeah, right, he was making this, but I wasn't thinking of that.
Okay,
I just thought
that was in the back of my mind as soon as the
right,
movie starts. It's like, what is Idris gonna do here with this movie? And yeah,
right.
boy, the man just impressed with. I don't want to say shot after shot because but I would say yes, directed wise, yes, this
Yeah,
is a
solid.
strong, very impressive way to just
Yeah.
introduce yourself to the director who is like, yeah, I could act, I mean, chicks find her attractive and all too, but I can direct and look at what
No,
I can do, you know what I mean? But the man
he
really, really impressed with him.
no, he had good command of his actors. I think most important part. I thought
Yes,
like
yes, yes.
the scenes and some of the dialogue flowed reasonably well. As I said, for me the big standout was Yvonne and all
Yvonne,
the
yeah.
stuff. All the stuff with her, and she's like a relatively uh she's a relatively unknown. She only have what 2-3 movies behind her, compared to everybody else. And
I haven't seen. I need to look up and see what other films she was in, because maybe I
yeah,
saw one of them at least. But this was the first time for me
she
right now
was
that
in
I saw a screen.
it's a Sprinter movie this year. She was in, I think, or last year.
Sprinter. I haven't watched Sprinter yet.
Something with sprinting. I think she was in that.
Okay,
And it's
Sprinter. I think that's
something.
the name of it. That Sprinter. That's the name of it. I think that's
Okay,
the name of
right.
it. That showed last year at the TNT Film Festival. I didn't get around to seeing it, but right. But yeah,
Right.
and get back to the directing. And yes, you're right. It's not just limited to the look of the film, which by the way, it looks brilliant in my opinion. You really
Yeah, it
get
looks great.
the aesthetic of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both in Jamaica and in London, you get just
Yeah.
the comparisons. You know what I mean? Like the fogginess, the
Yeah.
lights. You know what I mean? And yes, the cinematography is fantastic in this though, but also really just in terms of the acting, just how the performers are. You know what I mean? Especially the lead, Dennis. I thought that the actor played
Yeah.
him. Abil Amin, I thought that he was great though. Great screen presence. And yes, I
Yeah. Yeah.
read it up now. He is a British
Tell the
actor.
truth.
But I thought that his Jamaican accent was on point though. Like I believed him as
Yeah.
Jamaican. You know what I mean? Chantal Jackson, who plays Yvonne, I thought that she was great as well. I loved her character. I loved that they didn't play her as the cliche, oh, I'm the baby mama who's gonna try to tell the guy, no, stop, quit this life of crime. You know what I mean? No, it's not like that. She's reasonable. She's real. I would say that much. You know, and how she handles certain situations. Not gonna spoil what she does, but how she handled a particular situation, I was like,
Right.
but this real deep though. I never saw this. I
That's
never
what
saw this in a gangster movie before in my life. This
I
is
find.
this is great.
That's what I'm saying. I did this movie could have easily work in its own way if they had her as the central focus. And so if she was the point of view, they could have made that work, and have that would have been as if not as good or if not better than what we could have done. But what we got is great.
I
And I'll
think
tell
it
you,
would have been better, but it would have been less visceral or less violent. Because yeah, the
it's fine.
movie does kind of play on the violent scenes, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it is a gangster film, so expect that. And yes, you do get those moments, you have your gunplay, you have your pistol whipping, you have the bloody
Yeah.
brutal murders, that stuff. It's there, right? And oftentimes I was kind of wondering if they were going to play on, sometimes they can kind of go a little over the top, but it's played marginally kind of real, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's not like, Scarface, say hello to my little friend, some kind of glorifying, some anti-hero glorification going on, right? It plays out
Right.
like, yes, real characters get into real situations, guns are drawn, bullets are shot, you know what I mean? Bad things could happen. So at no point in time did I feel that certain things were kind of over the top. But what I would say was kind of over the top and almost kind of scene stealing, or I would say scenery eaten in a way, almost,
Rico.
was Stephen Graham boy as Rico.
Yeah. Rico.
Like just the
Rico.
way how he came off was just like, okay, we have to have the bad guy who is high off of his mind. So yes,
Yeah.
he have to be loud
But
or
they
he have
have,
to be over the top.
yeah.
But he just sober on that accent, but because I just thought he was just gonna be loudmouth, wanna be bad man. But when he dropped that accent, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, something. Okay, this is unique. All right, yeah. I mean, oftentimes he is wild and over the top. You know, you kind of expect that in a show like this, but when he was on screen, he just owned that performance. So I give him that. And yeah, I agree. Like I was liking the last few moments with him and King Fox. That
Yeah.
back and forth between the two of them, John, I was just
Yeah.
like, all right, this
That,
hard. Like he
that
signed
whole
up to King Fox, you know what I mean? I think he will be kind of intimidated by King Fox. Just like, no, you know who
yeah.
you is, so you know where you are right now, John. You in my hood,
You know,
in my hood.
is it Bart Simpson? Is it Bart Simpson gift with with the you tried cake and you threw it in there? You tried.
Yeah,
But that cracking up, Joe. That was hilarious to me.
yeah. It was because I didn't think he would have had the balls basically to just stand up to a guy like King Fox. Because like in the first act where you see him in Jamaica, it's like, well, yeah, well, King Fox is the man though, but if you cross him, well, yeah, you're dead. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this is like the last person you want to mess with there. But seeing Rico stand up to him, Joe, was just like, word, okay. The two tongues though, one of them in particular reminded me ironically of this character from Snatch, which is ironic because Stephen Graham was in Snatch as well. He's that one guy, that one cockney sort of guy. He sound kind of cockney, but he would try to throw some kind of Jamaican slang into it, like "yo, pussy," you know what I mean?
One of them. You know what them is looking like? You're looking just like Marvin from Home Alone.
You find so?
Yeah, you look like a black version of that. You look like a black Marvin from Home Alone.
You know when you think about it, yeah, though. Yeah.
And cracking me up is that the CD had was like, oh, the way this we say, boy, this was a rehearsal. Next time go be the real thing, which is it's a dark scene, eh? It's a dark scene, but it's still done so goofy. And that's where the movie kind of slipped because it's supposed to keep a serious tone, but like because the character's supposed to be kind of he established that these two characters are supposed to be idiots, but they're still killers. And I thought they could have framed that in a better light, but they had them still too goofy. Because they established early on these two characters are idiots, right? They're basically, the goons from Home Alone. But yeah, at the end of the day, they still is rough people up and kill people. And then, yeah, that whole scene with inside the hospital. I don't want to spoil what it is.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah,
Right.
it kind of came off like, oh gosh,
Little
this like a little goofy, like real
Little
PG-13 kind of
Right.
goofy. Because I wouldn't lie, the
Right.
setup for it, I was like I wouldn't say at the edge of a seat though, but I was seriously concerned for what's going on. And then when the character comes in and does what he does, it's like, all right, yeah,
But
really,
okay, the scene still works because it really throws a wrench in, one or two characters' ideas of in the world, and it works in that sense. But it is just played too goofy, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah.
Right. A couple more things before I get to rate it. Story. I mean, it's basic gangster film story. Basically, character come from nothing. Something happened. Something violent happens. He finds himself involved in crime. So you do get a slight hard they come kind of vibe, especially with Dennis being involved in music. So in this case, he's not singing. He's just DJ. In this case, he's toasted, right? Toasting, i.e., you take the mic and you're just chanting basically, right? So that's what he does, while the sound system do their thing. And those moments with him doing that, especially like in London, I love those moments, those basement parties, the final scene with the battle. Even though I felt they could have done a little bit more with the battle, I'm expecting Juice, for example, which is another classic gangster film.
Right.
But you had the moment where you had Omar Epps and he was doing the DJ stuff, and the movie literally stops to do the DJ and stuff. Like they don't do that, but the moments with him when he had the mic and he challenging Rico and his sound system, I thought that was on point. I love that, and yeah, the sound design for this was great, especially in those scenes. And just a slight little point I want to make, right? Now, let's say that this is the first film to do this, but this was one in a few based in the Caribbean, even though the first act takes place in the Caribbean, and I wish that our local filmmakers or Caribbean filmmakers could watch the scene and be like, yes, this is how you do proper sound design. So there's a scene involving Dennis's brother's death, right? A week basically. Well, the last day of the week basically, right? Nine night. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Did you notice the sound of crickets?
Yep.
Did you notice how low it was compared to the drumming, the dialogue, and the music? Now, if it's with our films in Trinidad, you hear them crickets loud as fuck, right? And I'm like, just a simple sound design. And no, I'm not talking about going Premiere or going Final Cut and just lower it down. I mean actual sound design, like actual going in and editing the thing, right? and you can add the dialogue. The dialogue sound crisp. The music sounds crisp. Sorry, all the other sounds sound crisp, and you just hearing that crickets just faintly in the background, but just enough for you to know, yes, it's a nighttime scene basically, right? If I just like, oh, you know what I mean? I just say this too because, you know, you can have people down here Trinidad that call no names who will be like, yes, this is a step forward for Caribbean film, even though technically this is a British film, just saying.
It's already BFI here.
Yeah, but I just wish that these, you know, these people who like quick to praise the movie because yes, it's about the Caribbean, it's about a character for the Caribbean, blah blah blah. Just watch that one scene, please. It, you know what? As a matter of fact, it even repeats. The scene comes back again, and they hear the same sound design again. Just study that scene, please, and folks, learn proper sound design. Right now, admittedly, I am learning sound design right now because I don't want that when I make my film or I do work on a bad film, I hear crickets. I hate the sound of crickets in a movie, in a local movie, because it's just so loud. That's my mini rant, right? So continue with the
Right. Also, well, as I said, for what it was, I thoroughly embraced and enjoyed what it was. It did a lot right. I thought solid acting for me. You know, I didn't hate it, but it just could have done more in terms of the third act. In the third act, I didn't hate it, but I find it early. It shall go somewhere else to the story, personally. That's where because it unraveled itself in not the best ways. But yeah, budget pretty low, less than $2 million. Great, it's fine.
Yeah. That's something I didn't think about as well, though, because I wasn't even studying budget when I was watching the film, right? Yeah,
it's like 8 million. It's like 8 million TT. We could pull that off. That's not dying bad.
Agreed. Yeah. So see, another thing that you know, local filmmakers go watch. Like, watch the film. Don't study about, you know, the camera that they use, but just look at what they managed to do with the budget, right? Right.
Yeah.
So about that third act, right?
I get a feeling that the budget is ready to do with the actors. Like that is where they're spending money in.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's.
I just want to talk about the third act quickly before we get to Rita, right? So yes, admittedly, the third act is clunky because yes, the first two acts really set things up, really well enough. I'm glad that it didn't fall too deep into gangster film trappings, where it's like just entirely this whole bloodbath by this guy trying to seek revenge. You know, I love the quieter moments. I love the moments where he's getting used to British life, where he's getting back in touch with his girlfriend. The moments with his girlfriend and what she's trying to do to, you know, rectify the situation as well. You know, I was loving those moments. The third act kind of just feels like, all right, we have to have this setting and we have to kind of have everything wrap up in one place. And we have to kind of do things kind of quick because time ran out. Basically, there is one particular shot where, like, it's a montage basically, but they're just showing a character exit a room and go outside, right? Go where the party is going on. But before that, the character did something, and it just cut to like the person walking, and then you see what happened before that. So that's like little time. I felt they really could have fixed that, just edited wise. I felt that was sloppy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, show the event happen, show what happened, show what happened, and then move on to the character walking towards the door, and then to the next scene. You know, you didn't have to do this elaborate montage and showy. Oh, this is what happened. Like, what, a minute ago? Like, really? You know?
Yeah.
And just as far as character arcs,
over substance moments, I agree.
and as far as character arcs being wrapped up, I wish that, well, Rico to a sense, but then again, he's a wild man, so you know.
No, he didn't have an arc. He didn't really have an arc. That's my problem. As I said, if they focus on him instead of King Fox, that would have worked a little better.
Yeah. But the stuff with King Fox, though, and then, well, slight spoiler with the guy that D was looking for all the time,
right.
Just a little too on the nose. It just kind of wrapped up too quickly. Especially when King Fox kind of reveals something, just like, okay, so this is how it's gonna happen. This is how the big reveal is gonna happen, and that's one moment. So yes, the third act is kind of clunky. I wish it could have been, you know, just executed a lot better. Last thing I'll say before I get to Return, is that one criticism that some people had, like some reviewers were saying, was that they didn't like the narrative of the narration in the film. So it kind of opens with some narration and stuff like that. Like, I understand where the actor comes from. Well, all right. Well, this one thing I just want to say, right? Sorry to cut you there. So the argument being is that, oh well, it's the equivalent of somebody talking to you who saw the show before you and just talking to you
Right.
behind the you know what I mean? Like they're just telling us things that we already seen. I agree and disagree at the same time. There are a few things like, especially in the Jamaican scenes, where yes, you have to explain certain things because years pass. You want to establish, you want to do a little bit of world building. But yeah, there are a few moments where they have to kind of, remind us of, especially the main team, there's a part that you must choose and all that kind of stuff. So there's
Right.
little bits of stuff that they kind of repeat and, you kind of just let the movie tell us instead of having the narration speak it out for the viewer.
Right. Yeah, I do agree with that to a certain extent. It didn't prolong the movie too much for me, but yes, I do think yeah, it did rely on the narration as a bit of a crutch, I'll admit. Instead of just good film language, could have just fixed a lot of that.
Yeah.
Visual language could have fixed
it. I didn't mind it.
But yeah. Didn't mind.
Yeah.
So a bit like it wasn't worse. And then in the second act, it kind of slowed down now. We don't really have much of that.
No.
In the second act in particular. And then the third act started to do it a little bit, but then it was just to resolve some of the things and more just revisiting the beginning now.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a big problem with that per se. It's not like the whole film thing, but yes, I do agree that the first act does rely on it a little bit. Little on the crutch end of things, but I didn't hurt the movie if anything at all. I didn't really get that from the film per se. So as well.
Yeah. All right, but just to get to Reeton one time, overall, I was really impressed by what Idris brought to the table here. Right. I really can't wait to see what he does next in terms of directing. I'll just say that he has to stick to doing, British gangster films. Like he's much better at that. For all we know, he could do some kind of romantic drama or some kind of thing. So, but just off of what he showed here with this movie here is like, well, yeah, sky's the limit here. I was really impressed by what he did. The story, for the most part, is pretty good. Could have been a lot better. Could have been needed a lot more fine tuning. But I like that it didn't play too much into the gangster film isms. You know what I mean? I was worried about that. It was just going to be plain gangster isms. You know what I mean? And I'll make the argument that some films, some of which are local. That's all I will say. Think because City of God come out, so I gotta replicate that show. But you forget about the inner, the context, what's going on, the story. It's just, gangster stuff, man pull out gun, blah blah blah, shootouts. Yeah. That's what you think City of God is about. You know what I mean? But I like that this film did not play that. There was more things going on than just a man seeking revenge for the death of his brother. There's more context in it, you know what I mean? Especially social context, right? But yeah, I was really impressed by what I saw here. I mean, it's not the best gangster film in the world, but I do see this being referenced one day, you know what I mean? Or I hope that people will kind of put this down as one of the better gangster films that come out in quite some time.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction for me. I don't have a big problem with this. Again, budget. It was 1.5 million. I don't have a problem with that. It's like what, 8 million TTO was the thing right now. This conversion like 10 million.
Well, close to 8. Yeah, close to 8, I think.
8 or 10 million TT, I'm not really sure. Whatever.
Yeah. And last thing, right? Talk about gangster for a bit. This one movie, right? Because I mean, I love me a gangster movie, right? Ever so often, right? But to take the one gangster movie that we had last year, Gotti, could not even deliver on what it was supposed to be. And this show, Yardie, just come out of nowhere and just like, I don't know, just top this movie, top Gotti.
Yeah, but Gotti
just off of the genre alone, because that was a big disappointment to me with Gotti. It was just, it's a gangster film, it's about a gangster, but y'all did nothing, just had characters talking like, Johnny Bananas, and I'm supposed to know who he is. No, fuck that shit, right? But yeah. So rated wise, I will give this a strong 3.5 out of 5, man. This is worth checking out. This does not reinvent the wheel. I don't know, for some people that might be a disappointment. But just as far as the talent goes, I mean, Idris Elba just shines as a director, in terms of just commanding his actors, what he does with the cinematography, what he does with the music as well, sound design. Yeah, this man has a future in terms of director as well. The premise, while it might be the most original out there, is still engaging, still entertaining, and the cast really makes up for the plot, which could have been a little bit better, in my opinion. Right. But there's still a lot of good here. The good really does outweigh the bad. And yeah, I really highly recommend you check it out, unless you're just not a fan of gangster films altogether.
Right.
So what's your rating?
Yeah, I get it's a low movie town. It works, but it a little on the unprofessional and unpolished end of things. And yeah, it's a little cheap too. So that's the kind of the pull downs. Little pull downs of it.
Man.
Again,
Oh gosh, man. A little cheap. A little cheap.
To repeat itself, it is 1.5 million. So come on. But
Right.
for what it was,
Fair.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good for what it was. I appreciated a lot for what it was doing. Again, cinematography was great. Chantal Jackson was pretty good. The main star, Amel Amin, he was pretty good in this, and it had good chemistry and acting overall. And yeah, if the good outweighs the bad mostly. But I really thought it should have really have that third act sort itself out a little better. Yeah, one more. If it was up to me, I don't know if budget permitting, I'd have probably reshoot that whole third act, frankly, and just have it tie in with the main story better. But small thing. Moving on.
Agreed. Yeah.
I enjoyed for what it was, and yeah, I dug it. And yeah, aesthetically, it's what's in my head. Aesthetically, it looks a lot like what I have in my head for some of my ideas and my concepts. So great.
Oh, nice.
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 I've it played out. I could see it looking, in terms of skin tones and colors and how cinematography and thing. I could see myself referencing this film just to pull off that. So could really get the Caribbean look at things quite well.
Yes, it does.
I dug it for what it was.
Nice.